Change is the only constant in our lives. Change is the only constant in our lives. An observation of this will allow us to be flexible and actually enjoy the novelty that comes with being alive. And if we don't accept that change is the only constant, we will be stuck in a soulless life. One that perhaps is surrounded by physical things that we own, that belong to us, but don't have soul, the human natural soul that all of us crave. I've been on a journey for about 1.5 years through this channel and through my personal other exploits of exploring and understanding myself. Understanding what really I want to do with my life and how I'd like to spend my time, who I'd like to be around, things I'd like to see. And what I've realized is that every few months, approximately 2 months, I am almost a completely different person by virtue of understanding that I need to change in order to get those goals that I've written out, in order to experience those things that I know in my dreams I would love to experience. What I've been going through recently is understanding how to coordinate a large group of human beings. And large to you, if you're watching this channel, could be anywhere from 5 to 30 people. Could be anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people. A large group of people really requires a lot of organization. And I love structure. I love putting things into buckets and being like, here, this is the standard way to do this thing. I think it makes life interesting and, frankly, easier for everyone working with me because they know what the hell I want from them. Now, what that also means is that in my private time, in the time that I spend here, perhaps talking to you or getting inspiration in life, I can no longer simply think of myself. Natalie Dawson and Brandon Dawson, their company Cardone Ventures, calls this we, W-E, leadership. We leadership. And it's something I've been practicing a lot. Almost everything I do on the daily these days is for a larger purpose, for something that's greater than myself. If it's Magic the Gathering that I play on Sundays for fun, I've created a community for that on Discord so other people can enjoy games. If it's work-related, I create playbooks and standard operating procedures so that people can be onboarded more efficiently. If it's personal family matters, I've created a calendar where I get to hang out with the people that I love the most, completely devoid of responsibility. If it comes down to my mental or spiritual health, I've created a book club that I've been part of for almost 2.5, 3 years, that we read books and we exchange ideas so my intellectual side is stimulated. What it really comes down to is change is the only constant, but we need to have something to start from, something to understand, something to wrap our head around. So my suggestion to you, if you don't use Google Calendar, if you don't use some sort of calendar for your life, start using one. You got to figure out where baseline is now in order to understand perhaps where you'd like to go from here. The greatest leaders in the world, almost every single one that I've ever heard talk, on YouTube or in person, they are saying consistently the same thing. If you don't write it down, it won't happen. Okay, maybe you've heard that before. If you're watching a video like this, you probably have. But I think what they don't talk about is the importance of understanding where you're at now. The importance of understanding what skills, what innate talents you'd like to bring out in your life. And my recommendation for getting onto that is certainly, definitely, ultimately, making a calendar. Okay, when do I go to work? When do I work out? When do I go and hang out with my partner or my friends? When am I going to go and do something for myself? When am I going to go on vacation during the year? Right? This is not something just necessarily to do on January 1st of every year. This is something that some of the most talented, successful people ever to have lived have done consistently. And what that means is we got to do it too. If you are a catalyst, if you've made it to this point in the video, it would behoove you to take advantage of it. Now, for those of you that already have a calendar, that already know, that already have all these things to do, and It's filled with stuff. There's a beautiful book that I couldn't recommend anymore. It's called Buy Back Your Time. Time is the most valuable currency we have, and figuring out how our money correlates to it is a very good way of figuring the little nuances, of figuring what it is that we really love to do, and that also obviously gives us that essential stream of livelihood. Chances are, if you look at your calendar right now, there are a series of things in it that you don't really want to do. What if I told you there's a way in life to get it so that you're almost always doing what you want to do? What if I told you that that's about 2 weeks away? It's called a 15-minute time audit. And he talks about it in Buy Back Your Time, so I'm not going to rip his information or his intellectual property. Go and check it out yourself. There's an audiobook available on Audible. Well worth it for those of you that are very, very busy and want to figure out how to become less busy so that you can go do more of the things that you want to do. Excellent. For those of you that aren't so busy, for those of you that haven't used a calendar and don't really understand why it's necessary, think about it like this. If you don't choose what you want to do, you will be perpetually confused. You will consistently have existential crises about, why the hell am I even doing the work that I'm doing? Chances are there's going to be jobs that you're a part of that have great opportunities, but by virtue of you not knowing what you want out of life, you cannot take advantage of them. Furthermore, for those of you that say to yourselves, well, I'm already too damn busy, and you don't have anything in your calendar, meaning a strict schedule, there's a very good chance you're busy doing nothing. And what I mean by that is, when we have to consistently choose what we are going to do, chances are we're going to waste a lot of time that we could otherwise be doing the things that we scheduled out. And that necessarily leads to a complex that makes you think you have less time. So the more organized people, the more disciplined people in life tend to have the most freedom, because they know that there's certain amounts of work that they have to do, certain amounts of shit that needs to get done in order for them to have enough time to do other things that they want to do. It's quite simple. And what I've been doing that 15-minute time audit. So, there's times that I'm working for like 4 hours at a time. So I'll just put from 8 to 12 p.m. I was a dentist, and then I went to a meeting, and then I did some other stuff, right? But on the whole, the idea of understanding you have to take chunks of time very seriously. And as we grow older and as we grow more productive as leaders, it becomes so much more important to figure out how our time correlates to the thing that we want most. If it's money, how much money are you making per minute that you're working, right? Per hour that you're working even, per day that you're working. Make it a bigger chunk if it doesn't make sense. How much soulful, spiritual time, novel time are you getting in life, right? How much love are you getting in life? How much happiness are you getting in life? All of that stuff boils down to taking things seriously and saying to yourself, listen, I am going to follow this fucking regimen to a T until I feel like I'm growing as a human being. The 15-minute time audit for my life has shown me how important it is to delegate little tasks off to other people so I can spend my time thinking and strategizing and coming up what the next steps are, so that people that work alongside of me, people that I serve, whoever it is, feel like there's a sense of movement, a sense of purpose. If I'm so bogged down doing all the little things, chances are that no one else is going to step up to do the hard thing, the thinking. So that's been an interesting thing for me, is realizing that some of the most successful people in the world spend very little time doing the little work. In fact, most of their time, which is a couple hours a day, ideally, and I'm talking about billionaires, I'm talking about people that we hear about in the news, I'm talking about the people that are moving shit. That's the kind of person I want to be, at least. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you want to be that person too. At the end of the day, we have to take very seriously the time that we have. And what I'm learning more and more is you have to organize your schedule in a way that makes sense. The last piece of advice that I'd give for you is, guys, you cannot do 50 different things. You can't multitask like that. You really got to focus on one thing for an extended period of time, ideally a chunk of 4 hours, to get the most out of it. And if you can set your days up like that, where all of your meetings are on one day and you just keep stacking them, you'll be in the same emotional state, ready to go and take care of that thing. If there's a bunch of busy work that you have to get done, being like, okay, 4 hours of busy work, I need to nail this stuff out so that my business or my life can run. It will save you time, because every single time you do that busy task, every single time you make that phone call, every single time you take that interview, whatever, it gets a little bit easier. And if you switch tasks all of the time, you're going to have a hard time figuring out whether or not you're actually growing, actually moving forward and changing as a human being. Hopefully this advice finds you guys well. If you have any questions, I'm curious. If you have any solutions, I'm curious. Let's help out the community. Guys, use a fucking calendar. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Peace.